I think the man who has broken most of them in his illustrious career is Sir Patrick Hogan, and you and I were reviewing a few of those this morning. I mean, he's an individual who has cracked the $1 million figure with yearlings that he's sold for $1 million or more. 11 times.
12 now.
Oh, yeah, 12. Yeah, 12, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he got his 12th one
yep.
here on Monday, which was terrific, and that's only in New Zealand. Of course.
Exactly.
He has sold $1 million lots in Australia, so that's Karaka alone. And obviously, you know, the 31-year streak as leading vendor, massive amount of success through his yearlings, and obviously that's come a lot from developing Stallion, Sir Tristram, Zabeel, and now Montjeu. There's Sir Patrick coming into the ring with Lady Hogan as well, flanked there by Joe Walls on the right, the chairman of New Zealand Bloodstock, and also director there and owner of New Zealand Bloodstock.
And of course, if the Savabeel Katie Lee remains the sales topper, that horse, that colt, will be the 25th sales topper that he has presented in 40 years. Incredible
statistics. And the other thing as well is we're seeing that's not waning. Of the top 9 lots sold already in book 1 of this sale, 4 of those have been sold by Cambridge Stud as well. And the staff now, and also members of the public coming in and applauding Sir Patrick as he comes in. This is going to be a pretty emotional time for Sir Patrick, but what an icon of our industry he has been. Oh, absolutely. And I think it's really special that this has been a presentation that has been made open to the public because a lot of people, also in mainstream New Zealand, hold Sir Patrick in high regard because he has traversed between the industry and, of course, you know, the general public and captured people's imaginations. For so many years, he has been such a dignified and eloquent ambassador of our industry. Undoubtedly that, Karen, and that's because of the kind of bloke he is. While he's a knighted man and he's got all of these the doctorates and everything, he is so approachable and grounded, like you say. He's a very candid character, and this is going to be a pretty emotional time, I think. All right, it is time now I think we're going to be able to, yes, just, look, we'll just share a few moments and let this speak for itself.
I would say a man can perhaps marry the wrong woman, and a man can marry the right woman. I certainly married the right woman. Yeah, she's number one above all the horses and all the achievements and all the happy times I've had with the horses and what have you. Couldn't have done it without her. We were only kids when we sort of got together at 17 or whatever. Got married at 21. We said we've got about probably 5 years to see if we can make a crack at the horses. So we gave it a crack over the 40-odd years. It's been an amazing journey, amazing ride, and there's been some absolutely huge successes as we've gone along. Octagonal was a highlight. That was the first crop of Zabeels. He made 220, and that was a pretty good price for the first crop. He ended up a champion racehorse. Don Eduardo's sale was probably sticks with me at 3.6 million. I mean, that was just mind-boggling.
Who's been your favourite?
I think probably Diamond Lover.
Why is that?
Well, I bought it for about 19,000. The auctioneer saying, Patrick, think again, you've got the wrong lot number. I said, no, that lot number. So I bought her home. She had a few issues. And then Colin Jennings rang me one day and he said, I'll make a prediction. He said, what I've seen of this filly, he said she'll be better than Ya Habibi. And he said, she'll win a railway. Don't ask me what year, but I'm going to win a railway before you take her home. So she won the railway in record time. She then went to stud, and of course she left Don Eduardo. So, yeah. It's not so much the favourite racehorse, it was for me the most exciting experience from buying it in the sale ring. I think I chose her, and I'm equally as good as anybody picking yearlings in the sale ring in Australasia, including all the experts.
And what about Karaka? How special a place has that been to you?
Oh, it's been great. I think the first Karaka sale, it was developed, and then everybody was fighting a bit about where their pad was going to be, the vendors, and so in the end I just said to Michael Floyd, let them all choose where they want to be and tell me if there's anything left where they don't want to be. He knew he had to fit me in somewhere. Then he came back and he said, nobody wants to be near the loading banks, unloading and loading banks. I said, that's exactly where I want it. I said, I'm all for the back door to turn it into the front door, and that's what I did.
What about the streak? How important was that each year to be the leading vendor at the sale?
I think when I first did it 4 or 5 times, so what? Then when I did 9 or 10 times, thought, well, I've got to do it a bit more so that maybe it'll never be beaten again. And I will be honest, not because I saw a catalogue or anything. When I got to 30, I said it doesn't matter anymore. It's 30 in a row, and I've only been here for 40 years. And then I went up to, 31, 32, so then I end up not counting. I think if, I was still selling in the next 20 years, and say another stud farm was getting up to 26, 27, I'd be saying, well, I don't want these bastards to beat me.
We spoke of his dignity, but also his sense of humour. He always has that twinkle in his eye, and he has, as we say, it's just been the most magnificent ambassador for the New Zealand industry. Actually, 1 year, Aidan, Cambridge Stud was the leading vendor at the New Zealand yearling sales, as well as both of Australia's major yearling sales. There is barely any achievement in this industry that Sir Patrick and Lady Hogan, through Cambridge Stud, have not ticked off or actually added to their record book. As Sir Patrick ascends the stage now, accompanied by Lady Hogan, also Sir Peter Vella, and the chairman of New Zealand Bloodstock, Joe Walls, who I think in just a moment's time will actually commence the formal part of today's tribute to Sir Patrick and Lady Hogan.
To acknowledge and thank Sir Patrick and Justine, Lady Hogan, for their loyalty and support for New Zealand Bloodstock over the past 50 years. Starting from very humble beginnings, Cambridge Stud has grown into an iconic entity, and I know that Patrick acknowledges the huge contribution that Justine has made to the whole operation over all that time. I've been fortunate enough to have known Patrick and Just during the past 45 years, and my association has been more than just a client salesman one. I'm very pleased to be able to say that Patrick and Just have been amazing friends to both Wendy and myself. I guess the Cambridge Stud story begins in proper when Patrick secured the not-so-fashionable son of Sir Ivor in Sir Tristram in the mid-1970s. To say the stallion's rise to prominence was rapid would be a huge understatement. His progeny proved to be rocket ships on racetracks of the world, and the very first crop which in turn propelled his progeny to great heights in the sale ring. Acknowledged by racing folk worldwide, a very well-worn path emerged to New Zealand sales each year for his progeny. Leading players such as all the great trainers from Australia, TJ, Bart, C.S. Hayes, Jeff Murphy, the whole lot of them came to New Zealand and culminated in people as great racing folk like Robert Sangster starting to take a lot of notice of what New Zealand was doing, and particularly Sir Tristram. In the twilight of Sir Tristram's career, Patrick was very well aware that he'd love to retain some of Sir T's genes, and bought his best ungelded son in Zabeel. And so, as we all know, the merry-go-round was off again. Two such great horses couldn't have been placed in better hands. Patrick's dedication to the New Zealand industry, his marketing skills, his flair and his professional fairness put the New Zealand industry and the national sales at the height of sales worldwide. Throughout this period, Cambridge Stud claimed the leading sire mantle no less than 25% of the time. Cambridge Stud has sold the most sale-topping yearlings of any vendor in New Zealand's sales history. Cambridge Stud has been leading vendor at the sales for 32 consecutive years, and Patrick has been responsible for the top priced lot no less than 24 times. And he sold 11 lots for $1 million or more. What a record. Patrick's name had become synonymous with the New Zealand breeding scene and continues like that today. What a huge impact he has made. And we at New Zealand Bloodstock will be forever grateful and salute him for that. So what now? Cambridge Stud has new ownership, as we all know, in April, having sold the land and Bloodstock. But Patrick has retained some of the racing fillies, and it's his intention to retain the best of those for breeding. So no, we won't be seeing huge drafts back here at Karaka in the future from Patrick, but we will see a rather smaller and select numbers dispersed through other consigners. He loves his breeding, he loves his racing, and those famous green colours, you know, the Irish ones, will still be seen on New Zealand racetracks in days and years to come. Let's hope he can add some more group winners to his already bulging list. We at New Zealand Bloodstock will be eternally grateful for his support and loyalty, and by God we'll miss his dedication and attention to detail at sale time. Just let's hope you can slow him down a bit and you can enjoy your semi-retirements long and profitably. For one, I can recommend it. We've seen, now I think what I'm going to do at this stage is hand to you, Peter, or Patrick, to say a few words.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much for those kind words. So well delivered. Sir Patrick and Lady Justine, as a precaution, asked me to prepare to thank Joe on their behalf if they felt at this time that the task of doing so themselves was going to be a step too far. So I'm very happy and proud to speak on their behalf and say to Joe, thank you very, very much for your words, and to express their heartfelt thanks to all that have made the journey possible, and their association, all those that have had an association with Cambridge Stud or New Zealand Bloodstock over the many years. There have been so many people that have been kind to Patrick and Justine that they're not going to attempt, even to begin to attempt, to mention them, because they are so very, very grateful to all of you from every conceivable part of the industry and walk of life. Their success, and they're the first to admit it, at the sales and in the industry and on the racetrack over so many years, is a reflection of the effort and the passion of so many people, and over such a very long time, and they are eternally grateful. They would like, just as a group of you, to especially mention their heartfelt thanks to all the magnificent staff that they have had over the years that have made the journey so enjoyable and so successful. And I see a note that Patrick adds, and he says, don't think it's the end immediately. There's another selling day today. He's got a few to sell. Get out there and bid up. Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be very brief. First of all, I'd like to thank New Zealand Bloodstock for honouring Justine and I with our efforts over the years. But it just doesn't happen with Justine and I. It happens with each and every one of you, the public, the buyers, the sales company, who have always accommodated us throughout the years magnificently. I'd like to thank Joe for his presentation to Justine and I. And I'd like to thank Peter for being able to put my words for me of thanks to one and all, because I knew I would not be able to do it. So I might be great on some things, but there are some I'm not very good at all. So Peter, thank you very much for doing that for me. One and all the best. I'm not going away, but I won't be seen like I have been in the past around the place. I'll be here. And so in 12 months' time, maybe for a year or two, I might be just that little bit lonely. Thank you very much.
Now we've got a presentation for Sir Patrick and Lady Juss. It's a fine cup. It's actually all the sale toppers that have been sold by Cambridge Stud over all those years. So on behalf of Cambridge Stud, all the staff, on behalf of our staff, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming. We're pretty soon to get on with the rest of the sale, but just before that, why don't we do "For they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, and so say all of us, so say all of us. And so say all of us, for they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, for they are jolly good fellows, and so say all of us.
I never failed to take an opportunity. There's still 17 horses for Cambridge Stud that I've got to get through this ring, so I'm not finished yet, and I need the buyers to help me out.
He is the master of understatement. I mean, one of the things we spoke of during this last week, Aidan, you and I, he was the original, the pioneer of the marketing panache, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that he's really loved doing as well, that whole promotions and
Cutting
marketing.
edge.
And as he said there, he wasn't going to miss that opportunity. And really nice to see a trophy awarded to him for his top lots and acknowledging that. But there might be just one more to be added to that yet as well, because currently leading the sale, and who knows what's yet to come as well, accepting all the congratulations and acknowledgement that is so richly wrought.
It is, and you know, one thing that I was watching and that really, I suppose, impressed me, there's so many accolades we can give Sir Patrick and Lady Hogan, but I was watching his young crew, his team from Cambridge Stud, and it was that mixture of total respect and adulation and admiration and just the sense of awe that they have, because
exactly.
you know, as you said, and I think this is one of the most important things, it's not just about being a successful person, it's about what type of inspiration you can be to young people, how you can develop young careers. And he has been renowned for that.
Exactly. We just saw him there conversing with Russell Warwick, and as studmasters around these grounds that he's developed as well. There's Russell, of course, who's in charge at Westbury, at Trelawney, Brent Taylor there, at Rich Hill, John Thompson, at Bright Hill, Nick King. So there's a fair amount of men and women around this ground whose careers he really has shaped.
You know, he takes an interest. I mean, this is a very personal thing, but way of example, you know, when I first stood for chairman of the Waikato Racing Club, he was one of my most encouraging supporters. He has been my nominator every year. He's been a source of wisdom that I can refer to and that I can take guidance from. That's just a personal tribute. It's not about me, but I'm saying he just touches so many areas of the industry that probably people at times are not even aware of.
Exactly, and there are so many people in exactly the same situation as that, and it's great to see that acknowledgement today.
Patria Vella there, it's an emotional moment. I think for anyone that's worked either professionally or personally with the Hogans.
End of an era, it really is.
It is the end of an era. Not finished yet, though, he keeps saying.
Exactly.
Actually, we've got a gentleman that's joined us now who also has had a very close association with Sir Patrick Hogan and Cambridge Stud over the years. David Allicina, good morning to you. Your impression of this morning?
Well, it was really quite moving, wasn't it? Yes, I've done an enormous amount of business with Sir Patrick over the years, and he's when I was young, he was very supportive, encouraging, very competitive. Hated it when you bought a horse under the odds, and wouldn't forget about it for 6 months. Would keep reminding me that I'd bought one that he didn't think I was on. But a wonderful man, a wonderful New Zealander, and an inspiration to so many young studmasters, to the trainers out there. He's had horses with many stables. Great guy to train for, a good loser and a brilliant winner.